This is our Scania 143 restoration project, and 9 months ago we took on the biggest restoration project that we've ever featured on this channel. Here we're using the forklift truck to get the bodies outside to be shot blasted along with the chassis. So the following day, the chassis and the bodies was brought back inside, and to our surprise, which actually revealed a really good, clean and solid chassis. So with the bodies and the flyer now also shot blasted, it was time to start preparing these for paint. Not too long after, we got the cab primered, and also all the locker bodies and the flyer primered inside and out, ready for some final fettling before paint. The next step was to get the chassis in paint, and just look how well this turned out. So the next thing to do was to install the exhaust bracket along with the exhaust, which we'd also just had painted. So the next thing to go on was the fully refurbished fuel tank, which we'd also just painted, and this came out really nice. Then we moved on into the air intake, and just look how well this came out, and look how nice it looks against that white. It really makes the red pop. Here we just removed the headlights, as these was quite corroded inside on the reflectors, so we had saw some new headlights ready to go back in, which we now have in stock. Then we moved on into running all the headlight brackets, air tank fixings, pedestals, brackets and clips all through the shot blaster, which was then sent away for zinc plating. We had to go through the entire running gear front to back, including all new brake shoes, new brake drums, brake chambers, new airbags, all new pipework, new slack adjusters, new wheel bearings. Here you'll see me removing the old brake chambers. There was actually nothing wrong with these chambers, but we thought while we was at this stage we may as well just replace them so we know they're right. The next step is to take these over to the bench, measure the length of the old one, match the new ones up to the same length as the old ones, and then install the new ones back onto the vehicle. Once we had the hubs off, we found that these was packed with old grease and grime, so we ran them through the parts washer, then we repacked all the bearings with nice fresh grease and new oil seals. We had to remove the old bearing race from the axle using the gas torch and an air chisel because this was seized on absolutely solid. Then we installed the new brake shoes along with the new drums. The entire hydraulic system had to be gone through, including a complete new set of rams, all new piping, all new pins and bushes down there, full new set of cables and hydraulic hoses with all new clamps. We've even gone and stripped out the old winch cables, which we'll also be having renewed. Getting these rams off turned into an absolute nightmare. These pins were seized absolutely solid, and at this point we had to call in some help from ARW Plant Hire to help us cut these pins out. First we tried pulling them, then drilling them, nothing would budge them, so in the end we actually ended up cutting these pins out with the electric saw. Finally the pins came out, we managed to lift the rams out of place, and we managed to do this without causing any damage to the bracketry. Then it was time to get these rams loaded up into the back of the trailer and sent away to our local hydraulic specialist. We had new pins specially made which fitted absolutely perfectly. Now we moved on into a little bit of paint and body work where Tom painted the inside of the cab, ready to accept some of the interior that we was making ourselves from scratch. Finally it was time to get these bodies mounted back onto the vehicle so that we can get them painted once and for all. We did it this way so that we could paint these on the vehicle to prevent them from getting damaged while we was installing them back onto the chassis. So first we started with the offside pod, which we lifted back into place using the forklift truck at one end and the gantry and a strap at the other. We lifted this up to suit the height of the truck and then simply pushed it in on one end by hand, and then the other end just moving forward slowly with the stacker truck. These line back up absolutely perfectly. So finally the whole truck, including the bodies and the cab, was completely painted, and just look how well this turned out. We could not have wished for this to turn out any better. Next, we managed to get the control levers completely refurbished and installed back into the truck, which meant we could now start to operate all the lifting gear again and check everything worked and that there was no leaks on any of the hydraulic systems. Soon enough, it was time to start stripping out this interior, including the whole dashboard, which we needed to remove to get this dash recovered in the same material to suit the rest of the interior, which we did ourselves for the first time, and I think it actually turned out really well. Now we start to make our custom made headliner and rear panel, which we made ourselves again from scratch, and this is the first time we'd ever attempted to do any upholstery trimming, and this actually turned out really well. And here's our finished dash. Not bad for a first timer. We also customised some of the plastics to match the colour of the outside of the cab. So the next step is to start getting the interior back in there, including these top locker compartments, which we've just had nicely repainted. Let's go.
If I remember rightly, they do like that. But then we've got that loom.
Glad you remember.
We've got that one. I just feel like I've repaired the marker lights before on other Scanias. That'd be about right, because there is remains of a cable tie up there.
It's the only place it can go, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think what we're going to have to take some of these old fixing points off and put some of the sticky pad ones on.
Yeah.
That I haven't got a clue. There's another Markerlite type plug there, which I will say will go to there, but then there's this one with the same colour wires that's been cut off. Did it have a light bar?
I'm pretty sure on one of the old pictures it's got a light bar on the roof. Or there could be beacon feeds. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
That way, innit?
Let's look up. I see.
Get a couple of screws in the back end.
Bolts falls into the socket.
No. You don't get it in with your fingers first?
No.
If you had normal sized fingers, you might have a chance, mightn't you?
Well, you know. I need big hands to carry you.
You wish. So that's the top locker compartments mounted in place for now. We will have to take these back out to get these side cards in, but we did have to re-drill these holes because we've made a custom roof liner. The holes, or the original holes, have been covered up by that, so we've at least managed to get these drilled and get them into position, so it'll make for easier fitting now. Once them side cards are in, these will just bolt straight back in, and I'm going to leave that over to Tom to rebuild all these faces and locker doors. He took that apart, so easier for him to put that back together because it's fresh in his mind. So whilst Glenn continues on with the lighting on the back end, installing the new lamps and tidying up some wiring, I turn my attention to the front end and start to install the headlight brackets, which we just got back from zinc plating, the level sensors, and also the power steering fluid reservoir, along with the nicely zinc plated bracket for that also. So I'm going to leave you here, guys, with some footage just to show again how well this truck has turned out, and watch till the end because I'm going to drop in a couple of sneak peeks of the freshly retrimmed, fully customised and embroidered interior. Don't miss that, make sure you watch it. Also, please smash that subscribe button, click the bell icon to keep up to date. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this restoration. Drop us some comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all on the next episode.